Ready to go ahead. We're going live. She's on our way. How's it going this evening?
All right.
I was sitting here talking to this thing here, and we're live already. Just getting some topics to finish this thing out, and I was like, I thought I had like 10 minutes, but before I know, alarm went off. Normally at 6:30, but it's actually 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Yes, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. How you doing? Want everyone's out there? Go ahead and hit that live, subscribe, and go ahead and like and share this podcast. Our guest speaker is on the way, but we're gonna go ahead and get kicked off. And you see Charlene there; she got her decoration up. I don't know. I got my card, got a few cards and stuff over it on the shelf, but of course I don't have the backdrop. And
I
so
got four trees up.
you got four. Yeah, you used to put everything, something in every window, right? Yeah, back in before COVID, I think I came over for a holiday, and if I recall, you had just almost every room. I don't know all the bedrooms. I don't know if it's upstairs, but I know everything downstairs. Every room there was decorated.
Yes, that is me and my mother's favorite, one of our favorite holidays. So you guys missed a treat one year. That's what we did. Our gala was,
Mhm.
I want to say it was the season of giving. I want to say that was the theme. So you
Mhm.
guys definitely need to check us out when next year because it is a winter wonderland.
Yes, well, get everybody into the mood this holiday, and yes, so it's that season of giving, and of course, there's the opportunity out there that you can make a donation, but also, we're getting ready for and we're going to talk about a few of those things, this evening. Of course, we're going to be talking about wealth building and things of that sort, but always during this time of year, sometimes we overdo it, and so we're going to have a discussion tonight, some ways to that you can, I'm quite sure you don't go out every year and buy a new tree, do you?
And, and the, and the and the trees that I do buy, guys, is used. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you want to get a good tree, wait until January when everybody throws their trees in the trash, and that's when you can get a really good deal on a tree.
That's when you go collect. I hear you. I
Mhm.
hear you. Yes.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to bring some of those things up this evening. But I want to just go ahead and tell everyone welcome for our Thursday live, our Thriving Thursday live. And we're going to go ahead and have a good discussion tonight talking about wealth building. And when you talk about wealth building, you got to do some savings because
Mhm.
you can make a lot. It's just maintaining and holding on to as much as you can. Because when it comes to money, not the hard assets, we can sort of like hold on to those until you liquidate them. Then it's a little hard to hold on to it. But money, it's just right. We transfer from one to one. But go ahead and tell everyone welcome, Charlene.
Yes, again, good evening. Thank you for joining us for our Thriving Thursday conversation. For those of you who are new, let me tell you a little bit about First Home Alliance. We are a HUD approved housing counseling agency established by our president and founder, Mr. Larry J. Laws. After serving the United States Army for 25 years, I no longer say it. He did not create a job, he created a mission. All right. And that mission was First Home Alliance. And what is our mission is to increase sustainable home ownership to low to moderate income families. The services that we provide to the community is pre purchase counseling as well as education. We also provide loss mitigation services. What is that? That means I currently own my house and I want to keep my house, but I'm experiencing a hardship. First Home Alliance will act as an advocate on that individual's behalf to help them do what? Number one, we want to help you prevent foreclosure. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if we can, we want to help you get into a more affordable situation. And so we'll talk to that servicer on your behalf to see if we can make those two happen. We also provide rental counseling as well as debt budget management, credit restoration. I don't like to say credit repair or any of that stuff because you're just restoring back to the credit that you had previously before it got trashed in First Home Alliance. We want to help you do that as well. Now, where are these services offered? We're in Virginia, Maryland, as well as the south side of Chicago. But again, I know y'all get tired of hearing me say it. It's probably extremely redundant. It doesn't matter where you're located. First Home Alliance can assist. So, if any of those service types that I just went over piques your interest, we want you to stay tuned, listen to the conversation so you can hear how you can get in contact with us and get these services. Larry?
Yes. Well, we're going to go ahead with the conversation. And was it today? No, it's yesterday. Yesterday, we had someone just show up.
Oh, yeah.
And so, speaking of these services, and she mentioned it doesn't matter where you are, but we have brick and mortar. However, brick and mortar is a requirement to be for it to be considered what you call HUD target area. So HUD would like, when that's Department of Housing and Urban Development, require that we have brick and mortar in the areas that we said that we're targeting it. Meaning we target that area, meaning that we're going to look for housing programs there. We want to be on the HUD website in those locations. And Department of Housing and Urban Development do not want these fly by night organizations. They don't want you to be offshore and not just web based. So they require that you have brick and mortar with a swinging sign outside. That's a requirement. So we do have those mailing addresses and office locations. However, we rarely are there at the office. We do meet clients where the office are a place that is convenient for those that have some challenges with internet and online. But basically, all the services that we offer are virtual. And so, whether that's so to contact First Home Alliance, we want you to use as much as this virtue that you have as possible. You want to call, email, and also we're going to set up all your meetings virtual, whether that's on Teams or through Zoom. And so all your meetings, we make it as convenient as possible. And we definitely use all the technology. And not only there was an individual that came to the office, and I'm a senior. I'm not as senior as some, but a lot of the seniors sometimes may just prefer just driving to the office because maybe you have, whatever, you may have a little bit more time. And it's like, this is my mission for today. So I'm going to go to the office. Sometimes I feel that way. I want to go sit down and talk to someone, but we want to make sure that you contact us through email, in telephone. And so if we need to, we will arrange something to meet you in person, but don't just show up at one of the office locations, even though they have addresses there, because we're going to do as much as possible virtual. We're going to make it convenient. And we also, not only there was someone that showed up last night, well, it was actually we do reverse mortgage counseling. And so that's the home equity conversion mortgage counseling. And so we've actually had a few, 2 or 3 of those in our pipeline at this time. And so there's a lot of paperwork that we need to bring to bear in reference to ensuring that we provide a great service for you, like bank statements, your interview with your bank, your bank presentation that you're going to get on the reverse mortgage, along with, if there's trusts or a power attorney and all these things that we need to gather, along with the financial picture, with your budget and things of that sort. And so all these things all have to be collected, and the counselor have to have opportunity to review those things before meeting you in person. And so similar situation, we've been working on getting a package together for reverse mortgage. It's been going on for about a week and a half, and we understand everyone don't just upload everything all at one time, but this situation, it was piecemealing the package. And then there was a few, the disclosures was not signed. So we sent that over, and then just say, I mailed it, And so we was thinking, just like he had sent all the other things with bank statements, that it was email. So email, come to find out, it had been placed in the mail. And of course, had to go by the office to pick that package up. And matter of fact, here's the large envelope here that came in. So there's nothing wrong with that. If we do communicate, and that is the only means that you can send a package to us in the mail, make sure that we clearly understand that that's the way it's coming, so we can go check the mail to ensure that we get that. But what we have to do, when I get the package, we got to break it down, and we have to upload it and transfer it back to digital so that our counselor can review those files and that we can store the files. And so we don't have hard copy files. We don't keep them. And so they didn't send me any originals. All those things were sent, uploaded. However, this is the disclosure package. So once it's uploaded, we shred it. If original documents, we don't want those. Just ask you, do not send the original documents, because we're going to try to send them back to you so that we do not destroy them. But we will upload those before sending them back or destroying them. But we ask you to keep your own originals, upload it, scan them. Of course, use the devices you have. Whether you have a fax machine, we still have fax. And so our fax number is 7, and I'm going to talk a little slower. I'm a little excited tonight, but our fax number is 703-580-8842. And so you fax items, we get them through electronic fax. And actually, when it comes to us, it comes just the same as an attachment. It comes in as now, actually, fax is more secure. However, it is most secure because you have to have the correct equipment and the correct fax, eFax, to download a fax versus email attachment, which can be downloaded. Just about any email server would download your email. If you can also send your email documents, your PDF, you can password protect those. That is highly preferred if you're sending something that has your social security identifying information on it. Just regular bank. I know people send bank statements, things of that sort. But if you are really sending things, that you want secure, you can do a password protect on your PDFs. If you send fax, then it's most already secure. So they don't necessarily have to put a password protect on fax. So again, our fax number 703-580-8842. That's for the fax. And for our email, of course, you can email us as much as possible. We're getting better in reference to our streamlining our back office. And so those emails, we're going to try our best to respond to you 24 to 48 hours. The goal is 24 hours. However, because of the load of the paperwork we may get, it make some of the documents and correspondence we may not get to in 48 hours. But please send us an email, send those documents in, put your package together as much as you can, so that we can go ahead and process them and build your package, and so to put you in with the counselor. So that was just an example of individuals showing up at the office. And we love to meet people in person. Matter of fact, Charlene, we could talk about our first time homebuyer class. What are some of why would you encourage, because you was talking to a person, and of course, meet someone, they say, okay, you can do it virtually. But what are some of the advantages of coming to the in person if you're in the area?
I think some of the advantages is there's when you take the first time homebuyers class, guys, you get, I always call it like your homebuyer's Bible. So you get this actual book that you can refer to. One, that's to me something that's really needed, because it has a lot of the verbiage that we use in the industry and the definitions of it in the book. It also has, there you go. It also has some of the sample of the documents that you're going to see at closing. So it may have a sample of, I want to say a deed of trust is in there.
Yes.
I want to say the deed of trust is in there. It may be a sample of a 1003, so you know what that application itself looks like. I want to say that there's some questionnaires in there in reference to the home inspection and some of the things that individuals should be thinking of when they're getting that home inspection. So that's number one. That book is very informative. You can use it throughout your being a homeowner, period. You can go back to it. So that's one. Two, I find, y'all, when I take classes like in person, sometimes you're intimidated in terms of asking questions. And a lot of times somebody's going to ask a question that you probably wanted to ask that you didn't ask, so you get the answer that you're looking for. So that's another thing. Three, you have the industry's experts. I always start off our first time homebuyers class and say this. We only got 6 hours, so we're not here to make you an expert at all. But you do have people who are standing before you who have, I think, all of our facilitators, all of our presenters have been in the industry for 20 plus years. So there's a level of knowledge and expertise that they may have that you're not going to necessarily get from that online class. That online class there's nothing wrong with the online class that Virginia Housing offers. It's excellent, especially if you're short on time. But I think the in-person gives you just not a little bit, a lot more in depth in terms of the information that is given to you by these industry experts. And then I also think it's a morale booster, because you're in a class with a bunch of people who are trying to do the same thing that you are. And to me, just listening to them and they're saying, hey, my goal date is this, and you're hearing that somebody else is trying to do what you're trying to do. Sometimes people connect, share their information with individuals in the class or what have you. And so it helps you. It's like almost like that push, because you're sitting next to somebody who's trying to do the exact same thing that you are. And so I feel like, that helps individual. as well.
Yes, yes, yes. All that. Yeah, and I think that a high point, what you mentioned there, I like that human interaction. You actually have a human, and so of course, artificial intelligence, these things online are great too. But it's almost like we have our board meetings, and I serve on a number of boards and committees, and we have the Zoom meetings. There's not, you go through the agenda. It's not a whole lot of interaction. But however, when we meet in person, of course, you probably wish it was Zoom because everyone is just interacting with each other, and you get more, camaraderie with the group. You get more out. People are more apt to ask questions. They're more apt to pay attention to the entire subject matter while you're there. And of course, if they sit in the classroom, that mean definitely they're not driving. They are sitting there, and you have most of the attention. I'm not going to say it's always undivided attention, but you have most of the attention there in person. And so there's a big difference, in actually coming to these classes in person, these workshops. And so I highly encourage you to have the opportunity, to come in person. And of course, but sometime time. We do not have one of these workshops every week. We do not have one every week. We have once a month. Of course, you have to check out our website for the ones that are in person there in Prince William County. We normally have one every month. And we can put these on. If there's organizations that have groups of individuals, we will ask that you have at least 10 people or more, 10 to 15, the larger the better. I would say the class size, ideal class size is from about 15 to about 35. And so groups over 35, it just for the time limit, we have the homebuyer classes are 6 hours. There's 2 hours that are basically homework assignments, we say, where you do your financials and things of that sort, spending plan, and you work on those 2 hours. And also, we want you to have a one-on-one counseling session as well. But the 6 hours are in the workshop. And so in workshop with 15 to 25 people is fine. When you get about 35, it's okay. But once you go over 35, the room size with individual, even if only 25% of the people ask the question, it's going to end up going too long. And so that's one of the ideal size. A lot of the workshops is less than 35. But we really love the in-person classes, and it is a beautiful thing to see when you have the experts there and also the interaction from our potential homeowners. And so check our website for the next workshop coming up, and come out and visit us if you're in person. And so we're going to go ahead and welcome to the stage this evening our guests this evening.
Racynta. And hey, you guys, please forgive me. I had a real life family situation. And so when Larry called me, I was checking the time with everything going on with my family, and I just basically it was a mess. But anyway, I'm here now, you guys. We're going to think positive because we're on our last session, and hope more sessions to come in 2026, you guys. So, Charlotte, Larry, I'm welcome. Please forgive me.
Yes, well, we're gonna get right to it. Life is lifing, and it's just gonna continue.
Yes, yes, and believe it or not, it happens. In our family sometimes we go through things. So please forgive me. It was a family issue, so we're good to go. Okay.
Yes. Well, tonight we're going to be talking about wealth builders. Our laughs within this series. Of course, we're going to have you back and continue. With you spreading the knowledge and with the community. And also, we really enjoy having you on with the wealth of information and the dynamic. And we haven't really talked about a lot of things that you're actually working on, because I know we're not, this is not a selling program. It's an empowerment information. But a lot of that information you have, don't think that you're selling if you're educating us on those systems that you're talking about. And so tonight we're talking about wealth building and wealth builders. And so what I want you to do is help us with some down-to-earth things in reference to, we talked about mindset before, but talk about maybe some routine, some basic routines that individuals can start thinking about when they're, just now, trying to get financially fit, trying to move forward. And of course, we talk about investment and home ownership. But what are some of the routines financial stable-minded individuals should think about?
I just tell most people, like, that's what I was doing. I was doing family stuff, but another family issue happened at the end of the year, which we're getting on to 2 weeks before we come in 2026. You guys, I always recommend doing a brain dump, financially, mentally, to create. And I love doing this. It works. I see where I'm at. I put that date on it, and I said, look, I'm going to work better next year, whether it's in your finances and your family life and your work life. I always say, look where you at. If you don't acknowledge where you're at and understand, look, we can be here tomorrow or there, but we got to stay focused where we at today to move forward and create a plan and a strategy. So clarity is a big part of the wealth builder with home ownership, small businesses, hobbies. You have to lay out the foundation where you're at, what goes, and do step climbers to get to where you're at.
Yes. Yeah. And I really like that when you speak of a brain dump. I've been through a few long courses because when I first came to the military, it was a 6-month course you had to go through. And you have different modules. And so you know how you come together and you have to cram to pass the end of the module test. Individuals will let there and they get so caught up in what they are doing right now, not understanding you got to go to the next chapter.
Yes.
And so to get to the next chapter, it could be something completely different subject matter, completely different whatever. But if you stuck on what you just did and don't do that dump, it's hard to move forward to the next chapter. And so I like
very hard, because a lot of times we're so stuck the where we at. I can't stand the word can't. Even with my grandson, I say, look, don't say can't. We're going to say, we're going to try. Never do can't, because what happens, it stays with us. We get stuck. And sometimes things has already worked ourselves out. And a lot of times we got our gifts in our hand. We just overlook the fact what we have. And that goes back to clarity, gratitude, foundation, brain dump, move forward. How are we going to fix it?
Yes. And the other thing that you mentioned about knowing where you are, we set goals, say that we're going somewhere, but we really don't know where we're starting from. And so that is also good to know. And so with that, these some of the routines that we're talking about in reference to doing it, making things clear, setting those goals and moving forward. What are some of the things that actually can keep us on track? Next year, we're moving to the next year. I do know there's a lot of individuals sit there and they're doing these, what you call it, New Year resolutions and things of that sort.
And we never do. A lot of time they never pan out. They really don't, because resolutions is a part of your strategy.
Yeah.
Monthly, weekly, whatever. I want to personally get to the weekly of doing a satisfaction Sunday where we sit there and do a recap and then do I do gratitude a lot in the morning times, but more so, I think that part of doing it. And even I heard a lady do it hourly, like basically give that gratitude and say, look, I'm here. And she keep it on her phone. And I was like, wow. And she just was basically saying how she grew because she was being grateful for what she had. And next thing you know, her goals, they align.
Yes. Now, I have a routine that I do in reference to, I call it gratitude, and I try to do it twice a day. And so I actually have an alarm set to remind me if I haven't done it, I should. Would you mind sharing if it's maybe some steps or something to ensure that you cover a certain number of things, steps that you go through?
I always say cover, first of all, faith. Start with faith, right? Your foundation. Then the family, finances, and then also fix. Fix what, dump it out, what I need to fix, right? We line it up with those categories, and then we turn around and create a strategy system.
Okay. Yeah.
So what do you recommend?
Yeah, I like that. And so, because these lines cross in yours, it seemed like it was a 5-step, but for me, I'm going to remember the 4 F's.
Yes, the 4 F's.
Faith, family, finance, and fix. And so I remember that. And mine is 3 steps. And so it's not as, I think I like I probably need to come up with an acronym, But number one, I give gratitude. Basically, just thanks. Thanks. I mean, if I can come up, and I try to come up as much, because what I was, if I did something in the morning and I'm doing the gratitude in the evening, I try to do, if I can come up with 10, usually, as you can always say 5, and it's usually family, finances, health, and things like that. So it's just things to be grateful for. And so, and we have sometimes we have to dig a little deeper rather than just saying family, saying that there's none of my immediate family members that have, been injured today, and you have to remind yourself that, okay, if you was thankful for your family, why did you tell them thanks? Did you tell them you love you? Did you hug them and things of that sort? So remind yourself to do that. So yes, so number one is be thankful. And I come up with at least 5 to 10 things that I can be thankful for. And then number 2 is things that I need to dump. And so things that I ask for forgiveness. And so if there's things I need to clear out, because very similar to when you were saying do the brain dump, you can't fill up a full cup, and so if you're asking to be fulfilled to move forward, then you have to let some things go. And so if there's things that need to be corrected, things that I need to actually, I'm not saying necessarily get off my plate, but I'm saying that I need to let go. Then I will let go as much as possible to let go. Just things that's not serving me. They're not serving me well. Let it go. And hopefully that the next time that I do this exercise, it won't be on my mind again. So if it's something that I need to concentrate on and do it. But if I need to let it go, let it go. And then I'm clear. Yes, let it go.
And I'll just tell you, it's an app. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was with the let go. I was going to say that. It's an app called Let Go. It's free. Matter of fact, years ago, a counselor gave it to me when I was going through, you go through and want to learn more about you. She gave me this book called The Art of Letting Go. And now they put it in the app. And it's really like a 12-step program, but each and every day is 365 days, but it's step by step. And you dump it. And sooner or later, you like, wow, life is simple, but it's let go.
It's let go. It's so many things that we, and I tell so many people when they search certain things. And so I don't go around and try to coach everyone every time I talk to someone, but I can hear it in people's voice. I can hear it when they're talking. There's things that happened yesterday. They haven't let go. Things have happened last year, they haven't let go. Whether there's someone that keeps saying they hold something against someone, they hate something or hate a certain thing and things of that sort. And so you have to remind yourself to put those things and keep them in the front of your mind. And so rather than keeping something negative in the front of my mind, I just wanted to let it go. Put it in its proper place, because not everything should be forgotten. Put it in the proper place and then move forward. And that is my number 3. The third is I'm trying to live out my purpose. I'm trying to, of course, searching to see what the purpose is and how I can live the purpose. Show me what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to be going, and let's set the strategy, the plan, and go ahead and move forward. So that's number 3, moving forward with my daily activities, working towards whether it's an annual goal, lifetime goal, or whatever, always striving to do to reach the next level. And so those are the 3 steps that I go through. Yes.
I like that, Larry. I like the part that you basically state about forgiveness. So I look at it now, I need to add /fix forgiveness. First, forgiveness to fix, because we can't fix it. But if we ask for forgiveness for others, and even though sometimes, none of us are right. We're human. Everybody's lifing right now, right? So the number one thing we can do is try to ask for forgiveness, even when people wrong us or offend us. I think that's very important. Very, very so much important.
Yes. And I think a lot of times when people or things happen to us, you think it really happened to you. Sometimes it's happening for you.
Oh, absolutely.
It's happening for you. Why me? Why me? Why this happened to me? Well, you probably need to go through this so you can be stronger on the end, and you need that experience. How are you going to tell somebody else? Like you say, how can you testify if you haven't been tested? And so
yes, I promise you, I can agree. And you're preaching right now, because that's what I feel like I just went through. But it's okay, because we got to give ourselves grace. grace the areas that we can't control, and we want the best for everyone. Even when I see people that's trying to get home ownership, or
Mm-hmm.
even when in business, we try to pull other business forward, and then that business might use you, X you out, right? And then you turn
Right.
around like, why me? Why
Right.
me?
And
But
why
at
not?
the end of the why not me?
Right.
And I had a question asked to me this week because I'm changing some things around at my office. I want to do more CE trainings like you guys, and more leadership, and also try to help other people based upon my life experiences, especially what happens CE, having Sherm, like Larry has Sherm to go in and help. So I was asked a question, and that question was, what's going to happen when someone takes your philosophy and try to copy it, or your systems? How would that affect you in business, and you're trying to do this? And I said, well, I look at it, don't judge me, but I see that's what I do with Maxwell. Maxwell had so many people take from him, where he went around and said, you know, I'm going to give it to you guys. How and what you make off it is up to you. So I wish you luck. So only thing I can tell you, I wish them luck, on to the next.
Yes. Yes.
How do you
That's
feel about that? With clarity, because we're talking about clarity, forgiveness, systems, and even when we in business, you guys, I'm learning distractions. Distractions is the biggest thing that keep us from our goals sometimes. And I'm actually thinking about 2026 getting a second phone, where I can have this one phone for family and emergency, and then have this other, because sometimes we got to turn off those switches. We can't control every area. And I used to be
right.
that fixer later and that lady now, but now I'm like, no, pull back,
Right.
breathe, let go, and absorb.
Yes.
Absorb what's going on.
Correct. And so you mentioned you was talking about systems and putting those systems in place, and some of the systems are actually tools that we use, but
Mm-hmm.
also systems is the way that we systematically go throughout our process. And we was
Mm-hmm.
speaking of the process of your day. And when you're trying to do certain things, and they become hard, you think it's hard. But it's just like doing push-ups. And so if a person never did push-ups before, and they see someone do 10 push-ups, and wow, that's very hard. I can't keep my body straight. I can't do the whole form of the push-up. But what it is, if you go through and make it a part of your daily routine, so every
Mm-hmm.
day you do 1 or 2 push-ups every day, before you know it, and you don't make it like it's a forced thing. You do it like, put it, maybe prior to opening the door, do push-ups. So that becomes like your routine. I'm doing push-ups and I'm opening the door. I'm doing
Right.
push-ups and you open the door every day. But before you know it, it's no longer a struggle. And then the push-ups
Right.
are more than a habit. They become part of your routine.
A
And then
system.
it's a person that just started trying to do push-ups, that was like, I don't know how you can just do push-ups every day. It's part of my routine now. I don't even have to think about it anymore. And so what you have made a habit. It becomes routine. You use it now as one of your strengths. It builds momentum and all this other stuff, because now it's no struggle. Psychologically, you don't even have to think about doing push-ups anymore. You may change the name and call it opening the door. Rather, you know what I'm saying? And so, well, what are you doing? What are you
I
doing at
agree.
the door? I'm opening my door, because I need to go outside, not realizing the things that you're going through to actually get out the door. And so that's how we build those things, whether that's finances, the way that you budget, spend. You have to practice. You have to become part of your routine. You have to make it a habit. You have to repeat it. And then you repeat those things, you learn those things, and then you actually develop a system for yourself. And so that's what when you're thinking of that, we need to work on our routines. The things that are not servicing us, though, they're not doing us right. They're causing us, maybe, like every time I eat peppers, I get heartburns. Well, stop eating peppers. you know, uh, so
I'm like that too. Or jalapenos. Yeah, you're right. Well, peppers, right? But we still be tempted, and
yes,
and I think that's the thing about being clear and having clarity on where you're going. Because the GPS will take us this way, you guys, right? And then sometimes it'll say, well, you have this option, right? You sometimes got to, instead of worry about doing the short way, which I did that one time and wound up in somebody's yard because that's what the GPS said. But I knew if I stay on this track and I go here, it might be a little longer, right? We might go through a little more things, but one thing I can tell you, we're gonna come, and when it all come together, you're gonna be like, wow, to God be the glory. That's
yeah,
how I feel personally, because that's life. And even with economics, we're talking about clarity. Right now is a time where you start building, and you think about from 24, well, I always say 3 months, quarter, you give yourself those steps, then you give 6 months, then you do 12 months, and then you do 18 months, because now you're going level by level, and it works if you keep the same systems, whether it's networking, grabbing so many people to build up your database, or is I'm going to put $10 here. Next thing you know, you're putting $20 to save for this house that you have in your mind, that you visualize years down the line. And I can just tell you, that happened to me. When I went through my tough times, I did a Dear God journal, and I still do it. And that Dear God journal really scared the crap out of me in 2018, because everything, I went back and looked at the journal because I'd just been writing. And I go back and look, and it exceeded what I written about. And I always tell people to write it down. Don't just think,
yes,
oh, I'm going to say it. We can say anything. But
yes,
if we live by those principles, that foundation, money will get off track. Life will happen.
right,
You even maybe find somebody who come in, and I was listening to a YouTube how so many scammers are taking people money with this AI and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, you go back to the core basics, the foundation, and say, look, let's build this up, or let's change this, or how could we get better at it? But we create clarity with brain dump and forgiveness.
yes, yes. And I like what you mentioned in there, of course. We was talking about these systems and everything, but you also mentioned about networks. You know,
Mhm.
I guess, of course, you have professional networks, but a person maybe on that journey to wealth building, how important are networks? Or maybe some suggestions on, what a motivation should be in networks, or maybe some networks that may be recommended for what a person is looking for.
Sometimes people don't want to state where they're at, and a lot of times people are not truthful with themselves first, so they can't be
Hmm.
truthful with you. I've noticed that, and sometimes you ask those simple questions when it happen, people, and you pull back those extra layers, because they don't really want to tell you where they're at. But at the end of the day, it's important to network with people, like-minded people, that's going to help build you up. And you got to trust. It has to be a trust factor built in. Research of either a networking group that you feel
Hmm.
like can help
Right.
you. They have different groups online now, free groups, whether it's on school, whether it's on Facebook, or if not, just start off with the basic YouTube. And YouTube, get the fundamentals in there, set a standard, write it down, and you just don't know where people can go if they actually just cleared their minds and wrote down everything they're feeling, dump it, and do baby steps, not the steps that social media is sprinting and running, and we doing this overnight. We're not
Yes.
doing that, you guys. It's
Yes.
all fake. We're basically starting here and going there. And with the
Yes.
mindset, a lot of times people build, that's how you build the momentum up. Like Larry, you
Hmm.
just basically talking about the gym with the push-ups. You're building the muscle. So
Yeah.
even when we go through tough times, tough people last. Tough
Right.
times don't. Because
Right.
like they said, the sun's gonna come in the morning. But how
Right.
you gonna get up? It depends on you with that mindset.
That's correct. Yeah, and building these networks, and of course, sometime we're in a team or a group or whatever, and I think Charlene, maybe she just mentioned that about
Mhm.
the in-person workshops, where it's something that there's a question. If you was online or whatever, because you only have that screen, you don't want to say anything. But in a network for like-minded people, you feel comfortable, and then someone is going to ask the question that you really was thinking about. But by being in that network, you get the opportunity to learn from someone else's answer the question that you didn't have to. And so, but in these networks, I know, of course, like-minded people. What do you think about coaching and mentors? What do you think about that? Is that important?
It's very important. Accountability is important to me.
Hmm.
Because I always kept, even in high school, I kept people that was older than me around me. Because I wisdom is the key, especially in life, getting clarity. Because you got to ask somebody where they been, have you been through this or have you been through that? Because at the end of the day, that's going to be the fuel to your fire when you hit that point. Because we all hit life challenges, good or bad, we hit it. But how you navigate through it to gain clarity and understanding, why did this happen? What did I do wrong? Take accountability and move forward. And a lot of times coaching and mentorship is needed. We do church, I'm very religious. We do church, but right now a lot of people just need to say, I got you. Because the neighborhood thing that we used to have back in the day, like, it went away. I got a great neighbor over here. I got one over here. We got great neighbors, but everybody don't have that. Sometimes you got to show up for people when they can't show up for themselves. Like, I had someone saying, "Oh, I've just not been feeling myself," and I only think I can say, "Lord, let me reach out to her. Let me make sure she's okay." And when I did, it was like 8:30, but since I'm working on this, but sometimes we got to show up and check up on why they're not showing up, because life be happening, and sometimes it just take a simple thing. You got this. Because
Right.
I can tell you, by being one that couldn't swim, I just learned to swim, and I had a pool for 6 years. I just learned to swim in May, because the girl, I did it on the second try. My mindset had changed, but more importantly, she said, "You got this. Oh my gosh, you're good. You got it." And I think that momentum changed me,
Right.
and it helps, especially with finances, especially when we go through things like sickness. You
Hmm.
know, anything that's relatable. You have people that's going through foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, tough times. Talk about them. Find somebody, Google somebody who you feel like can be your mentor or your bestie to help you through this time. And then you look at it. I always tell people, you know what? These worst times going to be your best time, because it really, if you understand, the worst times is your best time, because it's an experience and it's a test for a testimony to tell other people to bring them
Right.
forward. You will understand that it's going to be your best time, because you can live it and say, I lived through this, but guess
Yes.
what? Not again. It's okay. Give it grace.
Yeah. Yeah. So some things you've been through, you don't want to go back. That's it. You learn from it.
You
You
don't want to
learn.
go back.
Right.
You learn.
It's like I miss
But
high
but
school. I don't
things
want to go back
happen.
there.
Right, right. Sickness happen, things happen, life happen. And I'm not
Yes.
saying, go out and run your credit card up 16,000 and then you turn
Right.
around and say, "Oh my gosh." Well, we call that, and a lot of people have this layer. Let's talk about this part. When we say we're going to do clarity, and I was one of those people, I call it emotional spending.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's addiction, whether it's going out, or whether you're going to go and buy this part over here just because I'm feeling this way. The older you get, you got to, sooner or later, those feelings going to catch up with you. Those
Yes.
closets are going to get full. And
Yes.
you're going to realize, wow, why I didn't buy a house again and I'm 50, or
Right.
I'm 55. It's because you did all of these things and there wasn't a value. And now
Right.
you go and seek the help. And I had people all the way up to 65 that happened to. And race doesn't discriminate. It's just they go through it and then they say, oh, but I want to leave something behind. And they go and try to get a home and create that legacy. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and Charlene can, I know she can touch on this subject, because I think when you're doing that budget of where we talk about our needs and our wants, and you'll see that want is the area that we spend mostly on emotions, and so
That's right.
what makes us feel good, whether it's what smells good, really feels good, what what the good scent, what makes us look good, and all this other stuff. It's all about an emotion that you're trying to satisfy,
yeah.
some emotion.
Yes.
It's not talking about those needs. It's about the emotion. Charlene, talk about maybe some experiences that you have experienced with some of our clients, or in reference to emotional spending.
Yeah, you can, especially from a counselor standpoint, you can really see through someone's bank statement when they're going through it,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
especially individuals, especially as we get older, we
Mhm.
don't, we have to learn to communicate when we're going through a hardship. Me, mine was, I was a shopper, like,
Yeah, I think most people are, yeah,
you
shoppers.
know, like
Especially African Americans, we do shop, you guys. We're the top consumers. Like, seriously.
but and I think it comes back to a culture thing that when I look at the pictures from the 1910s and 15s and 20s and 30s, we
Uh-huh.
presented ourselves a certain way. You know what I mean? Like they were very dapper in suits and this, that, and the third. So it's always been, I think, instilled in the culture in the African American community that you have to look a certain way. It doesn't matter. Like my mom used to always say,
Mhm.
never look like how you feel. Like, period.
Oh, yeah, my grandmother, like when we was little, my grandmother had 13 kids because Larry mother, they had a lot of kids, right? And so my grandmother used to tell us, and I did my kids like this. Look, she's like, I don't care, you go to church, if you're feeling your worst, you hold your head up and you go and sit in there. I don't care if you got 50 cents in your pocket. You sit down like you own that seat. And we've been taught that. And to go back
Mhm.
and digress and say, it's not about the hair, it's not about the nails. It's about how you show up internally and what you're able to give to somebody else so that you can be used as a vessel. It was hard. Even in business, it's still hard. It's very hard, Charlene. So I do understand. And we all, we go backwards sometimes, right? And we got to pull ourselves back and go to the foundations. Because even now, you guys, I had short hair, long hair, but I've been in braids all year. And then I was doing this TV hosting. They're like, oh, you need to go back to your other look. Well, I can't be in the shop every week like I used to do years ago, every Thursday at the same time. And I realized that's not me anymore. I show up being my authentic self and
Mhm.
saying, look, this is how you get me. But do I have challenging day? Yes, because even today it was very challenging. I go and get my hair done. And then my investor, he done picked it up. He said, Racynta, you had a bad week in you. I was like, why? He said, because you got all your braids. Anytime you're going through it, you go from the hair shop to make yourself feel good back to the nail shop. And I was like, well, really, one nail fell off, Yancy. I'm up on the dryer. You're right. I am actually, it's been a rough week, but we're still mindset navigating. But the truth about it, been working, dealing with things. Guess what? Nobody had appointments next week for hair. But if I had braids, I wouldn't have to worry about it, Charlene, or something low. Wouldn't have to worry about it. But I didn't have an appointment. I didn't have no one to go to until this lady had this 11 o'clock appointment. And she did text me and she said, look, haven't been there about 2 years. She said, I know how impatient you are. You gotta come here. It's holiday traffic. Be patient. I said, I'm not like that anymore. I'm not like that anymore because we gotta just come and just navigate and gain clarity and say, you know what, I'm in here today.
No, I mean,
So
I definitely agree with you. That's why I don't have any hair because I was just like you. I would go to the shop and I would sit in there for 2-3 hours because
Yeah.
they're double booking, they're talking, all this other stuff. But I didn't care because I wanted my hair done, right? Because
Right.
it made me feel good.
Uh-huh.
And so going back to the question that Larry had asked in terms of what do we see in counseling, you can easily see in someone's bank statements when they're going through it because you may see those line items, shop it, or maybe food. It may be food, it may be this, it may be that. And so
Uh-huh.
and I do apologize. I have a little child behind me that
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's okay. Look,
but
last week
anyway,
I had the
and
grandkids,
so
so you heard the noise.
it may be food, it may be shopping, it may be this, it may be that. But to bring it to what we're talking about when we talk about wealth, when you're going through it, you can't see the bigger picture of the wealth. You can't see like me spending this $1.75 or this $3 or this $5. You don't see that adds up at the end of the month. You just spend several $100s. So I think it has a lot to do with sometimes culture, and figuring out, like you guys were talking about in the beginning, how do I deal with these feelings? How do I deal with these emotions without making my situation worse? Because that's ultimately what you end up doing.
You're totally right because it's a part of addiction. Like it really is. Like it's, and you look at it, and I can just say when I was like, you know what, I'm going back 2018. I'm going to get me a new construction. I don't know what home. I had a home, but I'm going back to get a newer home. Well, I sacrificed, and it's the first time I ever did, and I started doing it each and every year. January until Mother's Day, I didn't buy anything, no clothes, no anything. I like didn't bare minimum, hair braided, and it was great because I was like, wow, this feel good. I can do this all the time. And then I read this thing where this lady do it, and she do the first 15 days of the month, she don't buy anything, and she treat herself for 5 days, whether it's out eating or grab an outfit. She create that budget, and then at the end of the month, she happy and go and do the same thing each and every month because it's a system. But how we build our wealth up, you guys, is really up to us. Do I say go and get a coach, a mentor, a bestie who's leveled up? Yes, go and get that because we sometimes think, oh, they got it all together. No, nobody has it all together. But Jesus himself, we don't have it all together, you guys. We're still going through it. But talking to Larry, Larry is well more knowledgeable than I am because he's been through more, and I love it. And I love the story from people that have been here, but they're there. That's why I asked Larry last week, and I remembered it. How was it when you bought your first home to the second home? And he was like, well, I went from this and I went up the street. That's the first time I ever heard somebody did that in the 80s because they were so fearful of even owning a home. But you took that.
Yes, and the sound went off. Yes, so yes, yeah, I definitely enjoy sharing stories, and hopefully that it can motivate and incite, but definitely encourage and educate others that all these things are possible. And I'm gonna put up her information here on the screen for you guys. Racynta, it has been a pleasure having Racynta on during this time period, and she's still going to be able to talk as soon as she come back in. But we really enjoyed it, and of course, I have the pleasure of speaking with Racynta on almost a bi-weekly basis. We have a coaching session that we are in a cohort on Tuesday nights, and those Tuesday nights. The minimum time is an hour and a half, but they can go up to 2 hours and sometimes even longer.
Yes.
I mean, like it's 9:30, almost 10. What are we doing here?
That's how it was the other night.
Yes.
I was like, they wound up calling me after. I'm like, Jay, do you not know? Like, I am tired.
Yes.
Tired.
But I'm telling you, we get, not everyone can join because the one he have a small group. And I think the largest we have maybe 18 people, but I think when he originally started, it was 15. So that he started off with. And so some of the individuals have been in this cohort before he actually let them come back in and continue. And so he do have different cohorts. And so he keep them to a sizable unit. But the information, it's no way you can take notes. You're sitting there, you're going to have 2 notebooks of notes if you're taking notes. And so you have to record. You have to ensure that everything is recorded because there's so much material that is covered, the different systems that we talk about, different mindsets. And actually each time he has a different lecture that he gives before we actually get into the systems and tools. And so he is definitely a wealth of information. It's just amazing that he's able to spend even some one-on-one time as well with all the people that he share his knowledge with. But Racynta, it's really been a pleasure, working with you there with the cohort, which I think we're gonna watch each other grow. And of course, you're doing some amazing things, and so I'm watching you as well. And so what you're doing,
watching each other. Look, I'm looking up to you and Charlene. You have the 9-year assistant. What you done grew together. I would love having that, like to have someone with the same mindset where you're ready to go out and basically help other people. Because a lot of times people just want to help themselves and hold people back. But to have that is a great thing, Larry.
Yes. Well, we're learning, of course, learning a lot from you. Can you share with our agency, what you have coming up in the near future and how they can continue to follow some of the things that you're doing?
Well, trainings. Hopefully I'll be back on another session with Larry. He called me, I'm here. I'm going to start doing more trainings to help small businesses, real estate agents on systematic automations, pretty much AI products to navigate in order to scale the business. But did Larry leave?
I think he had dropped, but go ahead.
You see,
yes,
she's staring at her picture. To is that me?
Your thing dropped off, Larry. I was like,
you dropped, Larry.
You dropped. Oh, he dropped
again. Yeah.
The connection, Larry. You dropped again. That's why I was like, did Larry just leave and cut me off? No, it was just mess. I knew it's the connection. Sometimes our connections are bad. Yes, but pretty much, yes. I'm doing a lot of workshops next year. I just want to get out and serve and do more. Love real estate. I want to go more towards the investment side of things. I'm doing a lot with flipping. And we'll just see what's in store. I want to help. Even I want to try to help veterans with homes. More veterans with homes, because some veterans can qualify.
And 10 seconds, what is the best contact for you? Telephone number and an email.
Yes, my telephone number is 334-538-6219. You can contact me at homechasersolutions.com or racyntapollard@gmail.com. And even the phone number that is up there, that's the second line, 334-231-2022. You guys, Thank you so much.
Okay, I want to tell everyone thank you for joining us this evening, and I want to be safe. Have a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, whatever you may be celebrating during this time period. Be safe and enjoy the time with your family. We're going to be off the air for 2 weeks, and so our next live is going to be on January the 8th. And so for 2 weeks, we will not have the Thursday live. But you can always pull these videos up and enjoy the information, and I'm empowered by the information that was covered with Racynta and the other guests that we have. Check out our website, that's firsthomealliance.org, and also to continue to follow us on social media, YouTube and Facebook. And again, I want to say thank you, and you all have a Merry Christmas and a good night.
Bye, you guys.
Okay. Bye-bye.